Welcome all of us to our magic mixer, and tonight we are thrilled to have Vesna Matic sharing plant medicine and its magic. Woo! Love that. Vesna is a clinical psychologist and an LMLP, licensed master psychologist, and is a certified integral health practitioner. And this encompasses both Eastern and Western psychologies and philosophies. Vesna is also a transformational counselor, a pranic healer, shaman, spiritual director, passion test facilitator. Ooh, I want to know about that. A reverend, and certified constellations facilitator. Well, welcome, Vesna, you incredibly fascinating woman.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to turn it over to you now.
Oh, okay. Well, where should I start? Any particular questions or I mean, there, are so many things to talk about. So I guess, well, maybe I'll start with the plant medicine. Okay. So if someone had asked me years and years ago, is that something that I would necessarily be including in my toolbox, so to speak, I would have said no. Okay. But, the universe always has a way of kind of, putting us on a path. So I have been taking people on spiritual journeys, here again for a long time. And when I went to Peru the first time, which was also, man, gosh, I don't know, years and years ago, I did the ayahuasca. And so I guess that's probably where my path started, is when I took the ayahuasca. And since then, I have also used other plant medicines, wachuma, which is technically the correct name. When the Spaniards invaded Peru, they dubbed it San Pedro, since, they were Catholic. And I've also done ibogaine, rape. So each one of these plant medicines is different. And I love the way that the Peruvian healers, shamans, teach this. And so number one, what they say is, and so I'm going to talk for right now specifically about ayahuasca and wachuma, San Pedro, is that these two plants are not of this world originally, that these plants came down here specifically to help us human beings to enlighten ourselves, to help us on this path. And therefore, they are very sacred and need to be respected. Since these two plant medicines have become very popular these last couple of years, I feel that there are some people who are abusing them or not using them correctly. And so, all of you, all of us know that everything has a spirit. Even computers, which to me, technology is just one of those things that, it's kind of this, we go back and forth, myself and the technology, but, everything has a spirit of its own. And therefore, when people do use these plant medicines, they really need to respect it and address it in a certain way. If not, just like with everything, it can have a kickback, or as I say, kind of kick you in the ass, you know. So I think that's where people have talked about having the, you know, quote unquote bad experiences is because of this very issue. So they are, you know, here again, very powerful, and they show us what we need to know, what we need to learn. It is very good before taking the plant medicines to kind of meditate and you know, kind of set an intention. It doesn't always necessarily mean that that is what is going to be shown to us. Okay, but you know, I think it's all good. So so I think that's kind of it in a very quick synopsis. I don't know if, you know, there are any questions or um, some other, you know, some of the other plant medicines to kind of talk about.
I have a question.
Sure.
You said that the particular the plant medicines, particularly ayahuasca,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
And what was the other one?
So it's more commonly known by San Pedro,
Okay.
but they also in Peru, you know, they call it Huachuma.
So ayahuasca and wachuma
Mhm.
are not originally of this world. Where are they from? I love that.
What planet exactly? I cannot tell you. Okay, but
It they've
it's a,
been they're sort of they're galactic. They're of galactic origin.
exactly,
That's
exactly.
very cool. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Oh, you're welcome. And so I guess the ayahuasca is the female energy. Okay, it is a vine, and the wachuma is a cactus, and that is the male energy. Okay, when someone uh, partakes of the plant medicine the first time, it is often suggested that people first start with the wachuma or the San Pedro, the male, the cactus, the male energy, because it is maybe a little bit easier. The journey is a little bit easier. Okay. With the ayahuasca, it is kind of more intense. Okay. But again, because ayahuasca is the plant medicine most talked about, that's the one people gravitate towards. Okay. So before taking the plant medicine, it is highly recommended to have a certain diet. Okay, so that this way we prepare ourselves physically. Okay, but then also, you know, spiritually, mentally, the meditations. Um, uh, so again, mind, body, spirit, so that, you know, we really are prepared for them. Okay. Um, and with both of the plant medicines, there is usually some purging involved. And so part of that is, yes, you know, just the plant medicine going into your system and releasing any of the toxins or anything else that is in our body. So part of it is the either vomiting, diarrhea, and sometimes both. Okay. Um, but that is the reason for, you know, part of the reason for the vomiting, diarrhea. The other part is um, I would say just, you know, the visions and everything that are kind of coming through. So it's also clearing our mind, you know, and spiritual whatever needs to be cleared out. It does take, I mean, both of them are usually given as a tea. Okay, so they are cooked, brewed for quite some time in order to get ready. Okay, and with the ayahuasca, the primary plant is the vine, the female plant, but there are other plants that are also mixed in with that tea. With the wachuma, the cactus, that is only the cactus. But the same thing, that is also brewed for some time. And so I know that there are a lot of people nowadays who are taking the plant medicine here in the United States. You know, people are bringing it in. Personally, you know, just like with so many other things, I say that it is so important to know who is bringing it in. Okay. Number one, just like even with sage, and you know, all of us, you know, are familiar with sage. That if you go out there yourself to gather, you know, the sage, uh, it's important to give something back, you know, to the planet, whether it's your energy, offering up tobacco or whatever. Okay, so that you acknowledge the plant. You know, the same thing with these plant medicines, you know, that the plant is recognized and offered something. Um, so that's number one. The other thing is who the person is that is brewing the medicine, what, you know, what their intentions are, how they come to the plant, what they put in it. So many factors that go into it. Um, so yeah, I don't know if there are any other questions or anything.
Yeah, there are different ways to allow the ayahuasca to help, and some of the other ways that don't cause the purging. Did you want to share it all about that?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you, Dana. So for the longest time, you know, and also when I would take the plant medicine, it was in a tea form. When I went to Peru not too long ago, I discovered that actually it also comes in flake form. And that is what I personally have, is the flakes. And so the flakes are quite a bit different in the sense that, yes, you know, I mean, it's still important preparing oneself before doing it. But with the flakes, there is no purging involved. So none of the bodily functions, you know, so no vomiting, no diarrhea. And the other thing, since when you drink it as a tea, of course, it has to go through your whole system, which is why it can take 2-3 hours before having a vision. With the flake form, actually the vision comes very quickly, okay, in a matter of a few minutes. Okay, and for some people, they've, you know, they've told me that is pretty much as soon as they did smoke it, you know, they had a vision. So, and the visions can, you know, last, of course, different amounts of time. It depends on the individual, you know, perhaps, you know, how much they took. But again, with the flake form, I would say that the feeling still lasts, you know, but the vision may be a little bit shorter. Okay. You know, how much time after one does smoke it, it is still good to kind of sit down and center self for like a good hour. perhaps an hour and a half. So it's not good to just get up and, kind of go on your day, so to speak. Okay.
Pausing in the magic. I love it.
Yeah. Definitely, it's about, taking it all in and processing. So with the rapes that I have, and rape is a snuff, okay? A lot of times the primary ingredient is called mapacho, and mapacho is a tobacco that is grown in the rainforest. So very different than the tobaccos, that you find here. Okay, so very sacred also. And so they take that and they will grind it to a very fine powder. And then depending on what a person is wanting, okay, then the other herbs, plant medicines are put in there. So I have like 7 different varieties of rapes. For example, I have one which is specifically for addiction, so alcohol, drug use. And with that one, it needs to be administered 3 times within 1 week. I have another rape for someone who is wanting to go on a diet. I have another one which is called Pachamama, which I love. And so that one is for kind of getting to the heart center. I have another one which is for people who have a hard time getting out of their head, so kind of easing the mind. One for yoga. With these rapes, they are administered, like I said, they are a very fine powder, and they are administered through the nose, through the nasal cavity. So I have a little pipe, so to speak, so that I can blow the rape into the nostrils. Actually, I have another rape which has a lot of mint in it, and that one is for people who have sinus issues. And so someone who actually bought a few of those does have sinus problems, and he said that not only did it clear his sinuses, but it does also kind of clear the third eye. So multiple uses, multiple effects. I do also have one which is a snuff, but it is yopo. And yopo is a seed. It is also a hallucinogenic that is administered through the nose, and people do also have visions with that. So there are many different forms depending on what a person feels comfortable with, and again what they are looking for. Overall, like I said, I have only once have I really heard of well, actually, let me take it back, twice, where a person did not have a good experience with, and specifically the ayahuasca. One gentleman, I was on one of my groups to the Amazon rainforest, and he and his cousin both went on the journey with me. And she was telling me later that he did do ayahuasca in Texas, that someone came out there and he took the ayahuasca. So for me, there were just a lot of questions as to what happened there in Texas, because she said that afterwards he was very different than before. And when he was there with me in the rainforest, the healer kept telling him, you need to drink more water, you need to eat. And he did not want to hear it. He felt like he, I don't know, was smarter than the healer and just kind of did his own thing. So his experience was not the best. And then on another trip to the rainforest, the healer that I was working with, the only way that people found out about him was through word of mouth. And so there was a group of us, and we were with the healer and his apprentice, waiting for the boat so that we could go further into the rainforest. And these two women from France popped up, and they said that they had heard of him and that he was going to be there. So they also went with us. And these two women were sitting there. They also brought alcohol with them. They were drinking. They did not follow the diet. They just, here again, disregarded everything. And especially one of them, who was very disrespectful, ended up vomiting so much. And finally, the healer did ask them, because he had two homes, one which was for his family, and then where we were was kind of his second base, and that's where he would bring people to, go on journey. So he did finally ask those two to leave, because they were just really rude and beyond rude. So they also did not have a good experience. So those are really the only two that I know of, personally. So
What are
Is
some of the
there
good?
anyone that you would, in the general population, is there anyone that you would, or any group of people that you would recommend not do plant medicine, or given the right set of circumstances, is it beneficial pretty much for everyone? If they're doing it in the right way, with the right person, with the right dosage and the right plant.
Overall, I would say, anyone can take it if they are on certain medications. However, it is good to, clear that up with the doctor. Okay. So the, plant medicines overall are definitely here in order to support us, to aid us. I feel like there are people, though, they have this mindset that the only way they can really have even peace of mind, or perhaps, like when meditation, when we meditate so often, we just, kind of go out there. And they doubt themselves and feel like they cannot do that. So they always rely on the plant medicine. So even that can become a crutch. Not that it's addictive, okay, because it's not addictive, but I think psychologically it can become addictive. So when I talk to people, I worked with, everybody out there. And when I talk about substance dependence with addicts, how I explain it is that every single drug is both psychologically and physiologically dependent. Okay. So for example, an alcoholic, okay, definitely if a person is a severe alcoholic, their body has to have it, or otherwise they go through the withdrawal symptoms. So it becomes physiologically dependent, but also psychologically, because a person feels like they cannot function in day-to-day life without this crutch. So there are some drugs that are more physiologically dependent, and there are others that are more psychologically, like marijuana, for example. Okay, here again, where a person feels like, it calms me down, and that's the only thing that will calm me down. So, but with the plant medicines, like I said, it's more psychologically, if that makes sense.
It does, yeah. Thank you.
Oh, sure. Dana, you had a question, I think?
Yeah, I don't remember what it was, but uh, the DMT, you know, the difference. What is that called? That
The
you called?
Yopo? Yopo,
Yeah,
yeah,
Yo, yeah, Yopo, and you know that's all also just microdosing, right?
yes, yes. You do not want to take a whole lot of, of anything, okay? And with the both the rapes, the yopo, since they are crushed very fine, it's not recommended to go more than the size of like a pea, okay? And even that can be quite a bit, especially if someone is not used to it, okay? So yeah, it's important not to abuse them in any way. Yeah.
Can you talk about some of the experiences that you and or others that you have taken have had where, you know, the life altering type stuff?
Um, well, one time when I took ayahuasca, and for me, you know, I I especially love not only for myself but other people going into the rainforest. The energy and everything there is phenomenal. I nothing beats it, but that's my own um, I don't know, my way. But anyway, so on for example, on one journey, um, I where we were, was a building, and then there was a small porch. And right outside of the porch, I mean, you had the whole rainforest. They had to cut down the trees in order to build the building. Okay. And when I was sitting out there, there was a tree stump, and this tree was huge, before. And anyhow, so they had to cut it down, like I said, in order to build the building. And I was sitting out there, and I was just kind of looking at the land. And what I saw was an old man. I saw a beard and long hair and these, beautiful eyes. And then the next day, I asked the healer what that was, and he just kind of laughed, and he said, "Oh, that was the plant medicine that was coming to you." Okay, so okay, well, that was nice. Another time. When I took the plant medicine, I here again, I went out on the porch or on the steps, and the only thing that kept coming to me was I saw this like a gold background, and all of these characters were just raining down. And for whatever reason, the Fifth Element. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the movie The Fifth Element.
Love it.
That's what came to me, and I just kept saying, I need help. I cannot do this on my own. Um, and so later on, and I was out there on the porch evidently for quite some time. And this just kept going over and over, and it wasn't scary or anything. It was just me feeling like it was an overwhelming task, and I just needed assistance with it. And so somebody else later on um, kind of interpreted that for me, that there are certain things that I came down here for, and so just asking for extra assistance out there. Another time, didn't have any visions per se, but just this overpowering feeling of love. And it was beautiful. I don't know. All of mine have I don't know. I have never had a bad experience, let me put it that way. I've another time, this woman who came on a journey with me said that there were some images she had from her past that came up. Okay, so again, nothing frightening, but just certain things that she just kind of needed to work through. Another a gentleman said that he saw himself go out in outer space. So just a variety of experiences. Yeah.
So
I
for
keep
someone new to for people that will be watching this, someone new to plant medicine, and its benefits, how would you recommend they sort of dip their toes in? What would be your suggestions?
Well, I would say to number one, try to get clear as to the reason why. Okay, if there's a particular question, some issue that you want to get resolved. Okay, um, and definitely, with the ayahuasca and the wachuma, having the diet to prepare yourself physically. For example, in the diet, um, light food, rice, vegetables, um, uh, fruit is also okay. As far as meat is concerned, the only meat is like fish or chicken. Okay, no alcohol, um, no sex during that time. Okay, because the plant medicines can get a little jealous and they want you to, really be in tune and focused. Okay, so making sure also doing that. Um, and, I feel like before actually ingesting the plant medicine, to sit down with the person who is administering and perhaps, just, have like a session, a talk beforehand. Once after taking the plant medicine here again to kind of process and really give yourself some time instead of just, jumping up and doing anything different. So yeah, actually there with one client who did have issues with drugs, we did a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, um, 3 sessions in a row. And so before I administered the rape, we had a session. I did a guided meditation with him all 3 times. And we were very, I was very clear with him, kind of this is what we were going to do. And especially on the third time, I wanted him to, which, kind of may sound a little strange, but I wanted him to face the drug and really put a face on what it looked like. So we did a clearing on that. So that's what I like to do.
Mm.
Um, you know, uh, they the plant medicines are one way of, let's say, maybe clearing some of the blocks that we feel that we have. Okay, so clearing blocks, it can also be a way of getting to know self a little bit more, finding if there is any message that they have for us. So there really are several reasons why somebody wants to do that. I feel it's very important to include that in regular practice, and continue with whatever whatever one is doing. Um, life, I feel, is one big classroom. We're always learning. And the more that we learn about ourselves, then we open up so many other opportunities.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vesna.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Well, that's really fascinating about the plant medicine. And thank you for sharing all of that.
Oh, yeah.
Is there anything else? It can certainly be in the realm of plant medicine, and its magic, or it can be anything else in your practice that may that may add to the plant medicine magic. And I'm personally interested in what exactly a passion test facilitator is.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I'll say
completely divergent from plant medicine. I'm just curious.
Sure, of course. So real quick, as far as, and I guess maybe just a little plug, but so next year I do have a trip planned to the Amazon rainforest in May. Okay. And then also to former Yugoslavia. We're going to go inside the pyramids that are there, as well as Medjugorje. So for me, it's always about making connections and with the local healers, but also experiencing the cultures. I think people need to get out of their box and really see what's out there. So here again,
If people are interested in in those two journeys, is there a way for, is that Dana, is that on our MSCO info, or maybe you can just give a shout out to your if you have a website. I know you're not into technology, but
yeah. Actually, my website is currently being worked on. It needs a little facelift, so to speak. But yeah, or also just call me, message me. My website is visionsforlife.org. Everything spelled out, including the four, so FOR. So visionsforlife.org, or like I said, give me a call, whatever. But I have not put the trips on my website yet because I need to fix it up first, but that should be coming out like this month. So as far as the passion test, so yes, I am a passion test facilitator. And what that's about is many years ago, I want to say 19, maybe 90s or so, um, Janet Atwood came out with a book, her and he is now ex-husband, called The Passion Test. And it's about, so many people nowadays feel like they're stuck in their job, or that there is something else that they really want to be doing, their soul calling, their purpose. And with the passion test, it is, it kind of takes about 3 sessions, and it's about honing in on what a person is really truly passionate about, their calling, so to speak. Okay. It's a really cool process. And sometimes I think we have these walls or these preconceived notions about what it is that we are supposed to be doing. Somebody told us a long time ago, this, go do this, and after being there for a period of time, people decide that's not my, that's not for me. That's not what I want to do. So yeah, that's what that's about. And so you know, I've had people do that and take the passion test and you know, ended up leaving their current job or started their own business, you know, things like that. Yeah.
Boy, I bet there's a lot of people out in the world that could use help finding what they're truly passionate about, because we get a lot of things that get stuck in our way of knowing, you know, our inner knowing. So having somebody help facilitate that, I'm sure is quite a gift.
Yeah. Well, and I was talking to someone not too long ago, and you know, my mother had always, when I was younger, told me that I should go into nursing, and I was like, really? No, thank you. That's not for me. And the friend, you know, this person I was talking with, ironically said the same thing. You know, that you know, mother was always like, you know, go into the medical field. So, yeah.
Well, you are a healer, so you're not that far off. You found your own way of helping to heal those that are seeking.
Yeah, giving shots, not my thing. Yeah, no.
Giving plant medicine, you're in for. Giving
Yeah.
shots, not so much.
Yes, that's exactly. But yeah, you know, so some of the other things, you know, pranic healing, I know not as popular, for example, or known, I should say, as Reiki. Okay. So with pranic healing, I would say it's more specific in the sense that if a person says, hey, I had a friend, or have a friend, but she was having a lot of problems with her arthritis in her fingers. So I do have also a book, you know, pretty thick book. And so when a person comes and says, okay, this is the issue that I'm having, you know, it tells me like what areas of the body to clear out. Okay, the, you know, the heavy energy, and then bringing in the light energy. So a little more specific than Reiki. So that, and then I also do EMDR. For me, trauma is so often the base. That's, you know, childhood. That's where all of this stuff starts happening, and that's why I feel it's so important to first go in there and really process all of that stuff. You know, so often the first response people have is, oh, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to talk about it. It happened in the past. That's exactly why you do need to process that, because otherwise you're always stuck. So,
And for those that may not know, what is EMDR?
EMDR. So EMDR is eye movement desensitization reprogramming. So that Dr. Francine Shapiro started that back in the 1980s, and it was really focused on, I would say, Vietnam veterans, you know, and the traumas there. And what it's about is, like it says, eye movement. So
Yeah.
you know, moving the finger, so to speak, or nowadays there's other objects, light bar, buzzers, okay, but you know, moving the eyes from left to right is one of the ways of releasing a lot of the trauma also.
Yeah, I read a couple of studies about that with vets. It's super fascinating.
It is, it really is.
Yeah.
So there are, you know, there are a lot of tools out there. And here again, it's, you know, whatever somebody feels comfortable with.
Does anybody have anything else they'd like to ask Vesna?
That was really fascinating. Thanks for sharing all that. It's really new to me. I've been interested in it, but probably a little bit too shy to indulge. And I said I wanted to do it one time years ago, and my friend said, "You haven't even done mushrooms or anything. You're going to jump into that." So, is there a thing where you would start with something smaller and then, or just jump right in?
No, jump right in. Again, whatever you feel comfortable with. I don't know if I would. I personally wouldn't put them on like a hierarchy. I don't know. But and mushrooms, now you can find them in capsules and whatever. So yeah, again, whatever calls to you. And I would say so often with the the ayahuasca and the Wachuma, they do say that they will reach out and call you, to them. Okay, so if it is, yeah, go for it. Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Vesna. This has been really a treat, and I'm sure lots of people will enjoy this on our YouTube channel.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity and, being here. Sorry. But yeah, thank you so much.
Hi there.
Well, if Carol, welcome. We are just closing out now. So if anyone has anything else they'd like to share with Vesna, please do so. And otherwise, we really appreciate you and your time and what you're doing for the planet.
Thank you.
I checked the time difference, and they were telling me 3 hours. So 5 o'clock was 3 hours for me, 8 o'clock. So it's only 2 hours, as I can see.
Yes, because Arizona is one of the only wise places that decides not to screw around with our time, our inner time clocks. So, you and I are like, what? And these guys are all just like cruising through life.
Sorry. Sorry, Vesna.
Oh.
I never met you before. Sorry.
Oh, no apologies. Yeah.
We recorded it, Carol.
Okay. Okay.
It was wonderful. Thank you, Vesna. I really
You're
enjoyed
welcome.
listening to it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, Carol, we're glad you were here for 30 seconds.
See you
We
next
really
time.
appreciate you.
I did check the time because I checked PDT. Okay, so you're a different mom. Okay, I'll know next time. Bye bye.
All right, everybody, have wonderful days.
Bye.
Thank you.
And
Thank
we'll-
you.
and
Have a
we'll
good
talk-
evening,
and we'll
everyone.
talk soon. Bye. I think